What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Maverick Man 101. Got a video today from Man Talk. Let's just get to it.
And I hate to be one of those women that come on TikTok and cry, and people are like, why is she doing that?
Because she can't function without the validation of other bitter women and random internet strangers?
It's sad, isn't it?
I'll tell you that almost 2 years ago, my ex and I divorced. Almost 2 years ago, my ex and I divorced after 23 years of marriage.
So you started that sentence by telling the truth, that you divorced your husband, but then you realized and quickly pivoted, implying it was mutual. You don't like accountability much, do ya?
Just like a woman.
And it's been almost 2 years. It has been the hardest, most loneliest time of my life. I mean, if somebody would have said that I would feel and walked through what I have walked through, I would have said, no, I won't, because I will not make it. I will not.
There's a content creator. I can't remember her name. I saw her on another video. I think she's like a divorce lawyer, and she was on her channel talking about how women glow up after divorce, right? How they are better, they're better people, they have better options, they're stronger, and all this other mumbo jumbo bullish, right? She was like an Asian lady. And I'm just sitting here wondering, like, she's just straight lying to women. This is not true. Statistically, women are way worse off after divorce than men. Particularly 5 years after divorce, men tend to recover. They tend to get their lives back. They tend to start to recover some of the money that they lost, things like that. Women tend to just completely go down the drain, right? They just circle the drain of their relationship lives, their dating lives. They're back out here on a market competing with younger women, and they just can't do it. But the sisterhood tells them, no, you can. So whatever the sisterhood says, they try to appease them, and it just doesn't work. And this woman is a case in point, right? And gentlemen, it's not a matter of if with women. It's really a matter of when they turn, when they, Coach Greg Adams talks about the bait and switch, when they bait and switch you. It's not a matter of if, right? When they decide that the marriage isn't working for them and they want to go back out to the streets, right? Because remember, the door to the boulevard is always open. The lights are always on, like Motel 6 for these women.
Not survive very long.
In the streets.
Yet here you are, alive and well, and posting cringe on TikTok. You really like to exaggerate and play the victim, don't you?
Just like a woman.
I just pulled in my driveway from work, and I don't want to go inside because my kids aren't home this week. I also, when I look to the left, I see our basketball court and 2 basketballs in the yard. And I'm not going to move those. They're reminders
Oh, God.
of these precious children that I have.
Aw.
And that I can't
Damn.
stop.
Aw.
But man, times like this suck when I don't want to go inside my home because there's no one to go home to.
And you greet this as revelation.
Wow, bruh. Who would have thought that breaking up your family means you no longer have a family to go home to? I mean, you'd think that would be common logic, but fifis are more important than logic. Right, ladies?
Just like a woman.
No one is in there waiting for me. I will not be greeted by anybody.
Well,
They do this to themselves, and you see women all the time talk about, you see them switch. They want kids, they want marriage, but they don't want what marriage really entails, right? I think that men aren't in love with women. They're in love with the idea of women. And I think the same goes for women when it comes to marriage. I think women are in love with the idea of marriage, not really in love with marriage or being a wife, right? I mean, maybe this woman really is sad. I mean, I don't see any tears. Who knows? Who knows? But I think what tends to happen is as they go through the marriage, life gets hard. Life be lifing, right? They're not prepared for that. You can't just put these women into marriages if you haven't been raising them to prepare them for marriage from the get-go, right? If your society doesn't perpetuate that, if your society doesn't champion that and champion making sure that women are ready for marriage, then you're going to continue to have this. So yeah, maybe she really is sad, but you know, look, I'm sure after the divorce, she was at Chad's house. She was out there running the streets. And what happens is women never regret the action. They tend to regret the consequence, right? And so I think that's what's going on with this woman. You had your family, you had everything you wanted, everything that you ever cherished and dreamed of, and she destroyed it for her own happiness. And this is why happiness is a vague term, and I think it's a BS term in society, because how do you measure it? How do you measure it? What's the parameters for it? Because what women do is, and it's been said plenty of times in this space, they move the field goal, right? They move the goalpost, excuse me. How do you measure it? You can't make them happy.
You could always buy a bunch of cats.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby! Don't you put that on us!
Or I guess not.
And that is a really hard place to be. So, I don't have any like crazy magic words that'll make you feel better.
Well, you could try calling your husband and you could say you're sorry you effed everything up, and you could tell him you're gonna be a much better wife and beg him to take you back, because even though he's very likely to tell you to go kick rocks, realistically, that's your best option.
A few moments later.
I have a question for those of you who are dating, specifically through the apps. Are you having fun? Is this enjoyable?
Back when I was on the apps, yeah, it kind of was. Because in the dating market that you lovely ladies created, me and other guys like me get laid more or less for free, instead of, having to marry you lovely ladies.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Because
Gentlemen, I mean, if you're still on dating apps at this point, I really don't know what to tell you. Now, if you're on dating apps, I don't know, for a social experiment, which is really what it is, it's a human psychological experiment that they're really playing on folks, and everybody's just falling into it. Excuse me. But if you're still on there and you're not trying to really just boss up in your own life and do your own thing, trying to find different avenues to make money, I just don't know what you're doing. It's just a waste of time. Statistics have shown this. Maybe the guy who does Man Talk, maybe he did really well on dating apps. Good for him. But I also do want to point out, it's never free. It's never free. And I mean, I'm not going to go all into it. I mean, enough content creators have talked about this situation, but look at that Shannon Sharpe situation. It's never free, right? It might be free now, but 5-10 years later, it might not be. So be careful with this free stuff when it comes to you men out here dating and having sexual relations with these women. But my point being, it is a waste of time. It is a waste of time, and it's leading to dating burnout from both people, men and women.
I'm not. I'm not. This is not fun. The last guy I dated, I found out 4 weeks into it that he lied about his age by about 10 years.
Oh.
And the guy before that lived in a yurt.
Oh, what?
Which he was very upfront about. appreciate it. But he lived in a yurt with no running water, and he didn't have any plans to change that. So I am not having fun. This is not fun to me. Is it just me?
It's literally you, because you're 47.
I bet you those guys still hit. I mean, when she says she's not having fun, basically it just means that she can't control these guys who are matching with her or who she's matching with, right? She's probably going for guys that are really good looking, and she can't control these men, right? These men come over, they clap her cheeks, and then they go right back to living their lives. They don't care. And yeah, so she's not having fun. She can't control these men. She can't manipulate them. She can't have them as toy soldiers because she's 47 and she's just for practice. Nobody cares, right? Ma'am, at 47, I mean, you're still out here dating, and it's going to be a lot more women like this coming down the pike. But what do you expect at 47 on a dating app? Ma'am, you're going to be getting your back blown out. That's it. That's the best you can expect. Trash.
I'm 47.
You're a divorced single mom, and the guys you're talking about reflect your current market value on the dating market. Like I already said, your best option was your ex-husband.
Later.
Hey guys, I having a really vulnerable moment, and I wanted to share it because there are thousands of other moms that struggle with this. And
oh boy,
nobody else could.
Sweetie, get to the point.
Right.
I was married for 23 years and been divorced for a year and a half. I have an 18 and 11-year-old. And it is their week with their dad. And tomorrow they'll be.
Let me tell you something real quick. That 11-year-old was, she said her oldest was 18, then she had an 11-year-old. So there's about a 7-year difference. That 11-year-old was conceived to save their marriage, and it didn't work. Damn.
For a beach trip because it's fall break with him and his partner and her kids.
So, your ex already replaced you while you're dating guys who live in yurts with no running water.
Serves you right.
And I went and got my girls because I wanted to spend a little bit of time with them before they left. And they really just weren't into it. Not because they're being mean. They were on their phones a little bit.
They're kids.
And I know some people are going, we'll take their phones away from them. And yes, I agree. But that is hard to do when you have limited time with them. It's not hard to do. But I also don't want to be, like, you already feel like you're not the fun parent. I already feel like I'm not the fun parent.
Yeah, sweetie. The parent who breaks up the family is usually not considered the fun parent. Again, simple logic.
I'm not the one taking them to the beach. When they come back, we have one fall break day together, and we'll probably go and do something free.
Honey, you're broke!
Like play pickleball, or go to Starbucks, or go on a hike. Like, it will not be a beach trip, because I simply cannot do that right now. So this is the part where it is really tough because you feel like.
All right, before she starts this fake crying stuff. Wow, there was a lot there. But listen to what she said. First of all, ma'am, yeah, they're kids. They're going to be on their phones, right? Until you put some parameters around it, like, hey, look, no phones at the dinner table, no phones here. They're going to be on their phones. They're kids, they're teenagers. That's what they're going to do, right? Secondly, she talks about being the fun parent. This woman was probably an entire demon the entire time of their marriage. Now, look, I don't know the whole story. Maybe the man had some ish going on, but she just does not seem like a pleasant person to be around. And then talking about like being the fun parent. See, so what's going to happen is, because the dad, it seems like the daughters have a better relationship with the father, which tends to happen when folks get divorced, right? Kids tend to gravitate. It happens even in marriages when folks stay together, right? But kids tend to gravitate towards a certain parent, right? What I think is going to happen in this situation, this is going to be the mom that, because she's trying to outdo the father, because she knows she broke up the relationship, she'll be the parent that'll be like, you know what? You know, my daughters can bang their boyfriends in my house. They're home, right? They can do drugs in my living room. She's going to be that parent. And her daughters are going to be absolute disgusting balls, because she's trying to be the fun parent. And then the dad is going to get them back, and he's going to be like, what is going on? It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Your kids would rather be with the other parent, and in this instance, that family.
Yeah, because their father wasn't the one who broke up the family. Seriously, how is this not registering to you?
It's hard, and it sucks.
Well, sweetie, what can I say?
Action, reaction, cause and effect.
Later.
Merry Christmas Eve. Happy holidays. Happy Kwanzaa. Hanukkah Day. And if there's any other ones that I'm missing, I just really wanted to share some exciting news. I didn't achieve any of the goals that I set for myself in 2024.
I'm not surprised,
And I'm really no
Jeez
further
Louise.
along than I was this day last year or the year before that. So,
Right.
cheers.
And that's why you're dating guys who live in yurts with no running water. Because the rest of us have no reason to take you seriously.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Shout out to Man Talk for that video. Hey, she didn't achieve none of her goals, but hey, she can go to Starbucks and get that that garbage juice that they sell people, right? So yeah. Fun times. This woman was probably pretty in her 20s, right? She probably was, right? She was probably a good-looking woman. You can kind of see specks in there, right? White women tend to age pretty quickly, so she was probably, you know, a good-looking woman in her 20s. So, you know, hey, shout out to her. But gentlemen, I mean, look, if you're gonna get married out here, which I don't know why you would, but if that's what you want, my God, just understand these things about women. Look, the courts aren't coming to help you. I mean, your family ain't coming to help you. You have no defense against this. And she was probably wilding in her 20s and met her husband and bent over one time, and he was like, all right, I'll marry her. Yo, man, be careful. Be careful out here. If you're dating and you're dating for marriage, again, I don't think you should, but I know a lot of men out here still think that women like them. And I think at this point, you can clearly see that they don't. But if you think you're going to find the one angel in the batch, good luck. Gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, eat well, sleep well, be well, and I'll catch you guys later.